Hey Deb, hope you're having a great day today. Hey there, Marcelina. It is -2 here in Toronto. I'm wondering what it's like. What is it like in New Jersey, Deb? Now I have to convert 45 degrees Fahrenheit into Celsius. Mary, do you know top of your head?
Uh, I want to say 8 degrees, but that might not be right.
Sounds like it's
It's not that warm.
Yeah, we'll give it maybe like another minute and then we'll get started. Okay. And so for everyone else that's still trickling in, they can always view this replay after the fact. So I just want to say good afternoon to you guys. I want to thank you again for spending your afternoons with us today for this Changemaker20. And we may have a few people that are coming in that are first-time registrants. I did notice there are a couple of new names. And so for you that are coming in for the first time, this is a chance where we do get to chat with some of our subject matter experts. And this is an open forum for all of you guys to ask questions and speak to them directly. And so, go down into your Zoom and there's a chat link right down below. You can feel free to ask any questions along the way and just hit the switch so that you're sending your messages to panelists and attendees. And I'd love to continue this conversation. And I'm going to prompt you guys throughout today so that we can engage together a little bit more. And today is going to be really, really fun. Today we have Mary Trudeau. Mary has dedicated her career to water. She is a professional engineer with 15 years of experience managing municipal water infrastructure and 15 years of experience as a consultant that provides advice that bridges science and policy. So it's going to be really interesting. I mean, you would think that having someone with Mary's repertoire, we're going to be talking about the state of water. But instead, we are going to delve into Mary's experience with her experience as a water engineer, but also what she's learned about mental health and coping with stressful situations and being able to still your mind, which the contrast is so different, but I think it's super interesting. So I never would have guessed that the two went together, but I'm really excited for it. We're going to have a little bit of a different format today. We're going to do a little bit of a TED-style presentation. And whenever you're ready, Mary, you can take it away.
Thank you, Daniel, and welcome everyone. And how are you feeling? Maybe helpless, maybe a little bit anxious about our global situation. We are in the midst of a pandemic, and we all have friends and family who are impacted, maybe unemployed or on the front lines helping those affected by the virus. And we're hearing headlines daily of infection rates increasing somewhere in the world. And we've had to change our personal routines. So it's understandable that you might be feeling anxious. And I certainly feel some anxiety as well. But I remember a time when I felt those feelings all the time. But it wasn't a pandemic that caused my anxiety. It was the overwhelming worry that came as I learned more and more about climate change and species extinctions. So as Daniel said, I am a water scientist, excuse me, and I've observed the trends, and I've seen how imperiled our aquatic species are and how climate change is impacting our planet's water cycle. And in the past, the emotions of anxiety and helplessness were constant for me. I needed relief, but I was missing something. And I was missing a way to soothe those negative emotions. I was missing something so simple that I never even considered it until one day my awareness shifted. And it was a day where I saw beauty in something so ugly, so unappealing to me. And yet there it was, simple beauty. And in seeing this truth, I found a refuge, like a place to rest my worried mind for a moment. And that experience has stayed with me. I learned that experiencing beauty is actually experiencing calm in the face of anxiety. And if you feel anxious during this pandemic, I want to share with you what I learned. And beauty is a restorative force that helps us to manage the stress of uncertain times. And think even like a little bird hopping in the grass, just the way it hops. In a world where we have to be aware of social distancing and taking time to notice the beauty all around us, like maybe a spider web, if you have a spider web in your house, before you clean it up, if you just look at how delicate and strong it is and it catches light, you know, if we connect with beauty, we connect with ourselves and with each other through a common experience. And when we allow ourselves to experience beauty, we open a connection to this amazing planet. And beauty is accessible. You don't need anything outside of yourself. It's a self-regulation tool, and it's a force. And when I say beauty is accessible, my unexpected experience came from a most surprising source: asphalt. Yes, I witnessed amazing beauty in asphalt. A beauty was always there, but I had forgotten to notice it. And believe me, asphalt does not epitomize beauty for me. As a human, I find it ugly, but as a water scientist, I really despise it. It fundamentally changes the water cycle. But do you know, frost on an asphalt roadway sparkles in sunlight like a river of diamonds. I was caught off guard by a river of diamonds when I was walking to work several years ago. I was stunned by its beauty. I couldn't take in any other information except the magnificence of the asphalt. And I realized, if asphalt can be beautiful, how many other opportunities to experience beauty had I missed? I didn't have any special training and I didn't have a guru, although those probably would have helped. Beauty found me. It snuck into my life, and now I can barely look anywhere without seeing it. Beauty is a self-regulation tool. It's a way to find relief and to rest your worried mind. If you think of a flower, even like a weed, the yellow in a dandelion, like the vibrancy, it's captivating, and it can be just a whole experience. And water for me is beauty. You know, it changes form from a free-flowing liquid to rock-hard ice to clouds floating in the sky. And its colors shift through any number of shades of blue, green, gray, white. And it is life. It defines our planet. It's what we look for on other planets to support life. And just a few moments of appreciating the beauty of water refuels my energy stores. It suspends my mental activity, and it allows room for a sense of awe. Allow yourself to see things with new eyes, and allow yourself time to notice and invite spontaneous moments of being present with beauty, and it will shift the heaviness. The beauty is a force. It has strength, except not in the classical way we've come to think of a force or strength. It's a gentle, restorative force. And if you think about listening to beautiful music, how it can change your mind or change what you're thinking, how it can change what you feel about your day. It's just a matter of looking for extraordinary things in the ordinary things that we see all the time. It doesn't need to make sense. It's just beauty. and the world seems to stop, and our internal mental processes are suspended, including judgment about whether it makes sense or not, and we can just be present with the experience. And beauty is a force that doesn't change the world by observing it, but it does allow us to re-energize. And at a time when so many of us are feeling afraid or anxious as a pandemic marches through our world and we have to isolate to control its spread, beauty can provide relief from the trauma and the endless bad news. And experiencing beauty inspires gratitude for the opportunity to exist on such an amazing planet. And opening up to our natural reverence and awe of nature is a coping mechanism. As a scientist, I've experienced anxiety and profound grief. But I'm able to continue on because I know that beauty is a restorative force that helps to manage the stress of uncertain times. And in a world where, we have to be aware of social distancing, by taking the time to notice the beauty all around us, we connect with ourselves and with each other. And when we allow ourselves to experience beauty, we open a connection to this incredible planet. And I know that beauty is always there somewhere, waiting gently to be noticed. And I know beauty's there because even asphalt sparkles.
That's awesome. I really liked, Mary, how you were able to relate it to the anxiety that everybody feels every day, not just during this pandemic, because yes, we're going through a lot of tough times, but people do on a regular basis as well. And I really appreciate that you're giving us a very different perspective on what we look at in terms of coping with anxiety or coping with stress as, we get overwhelmed with work. Now, even more so as people are taking that work home and they have their kids and they have their spouses and maybe pets that they're also thinking about in the background. And so I think that's a great perspective to be able to have. I also felt like I could have closed my eyes and it would have been this, meditation moment that people would have, paid for. But it was really cool. It was really interesting. I'd like to know, and I'm sure many people do as well. It's like, what is your step-by-step process in being able to appreciate beauty? What do you think about? How do you approach it? And what is your methodology?
Well, so I don't have a methodology except just to invite an experience, to have really an expectation that there will be something absolutely incredible. If you just look out a window or, look somewhere in your house, and it doesn't have to be nature, but for me, it is nature. And, just the color of the sky, is just look at the blue in the sky, and it will just allow you to to have an experience that doesn't require thought or analysis, because I think there's no preparation needed because we do have an innate sense of wonder. If you think of a little kid, they're just delighted at everything. They can walk through a yard that you've seen every single day for a decade, and they can find something to be absolutely delighted about. And even if it's, a blade of grass that it's got structure to it and it catches light different ways and it blows in in the wind, it can even make some sound. You don't even have to have all of your senses. Even if you don't see that well, you can have a tactile or a smell or, a sound.
Hmm.
So I think it's just a matter of inviting, not preparing.
And so how would this be different from traditional methods and different practices that people do right now to help themselves cope, for example, meditation or maybe yoga? How does this differ, and how are you finding that it differs from your own experiences?
Well, I do yoga and meditation, and I think the experience of meditation is what I'm supposed to experience. What I experience with beauty is what I'm supposed to experience with meditation, in that it's just a way to access a very, very still mind. It's that, you know, if you slow your mind, or you actually relieve your mind of all thought, it gives your body a chance to do what it does naturally, which is to heal and recover from stress. And a lot of the stress is because we can't shut down that mental chatter in the mind. So, you know, yoga and meditation are two of the techniques that maybe have the same result. But in my experience, you know, I don't have to be on my yoga mat, and I don't have to be sitting still if I'm on my way to work and I'm feeling anxious. Beauty is something that's just so accessible and instantaneous.
And so it's kind of like more of a mindset shift, that taking in and noticing the environment around you, and really becoming a lot more indulgent of our beauty in the world, rather than just going on your day to day and just not really embracing what's there. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, you know, and going back to a kid, like, I think we all have the experience of being just in awe of nature. And I think maybe to get our job done and to do what we have to do as adults day in and day out, we have to maybe block that out a little bit. So in some ways, maybe it's taking off some of those layers that we've added on, you know, ourselves to be efficient and effective and all those kinds of things, and just going back to allow an experience that we, you know, almost certainly have had as a child.
Yeah, oh, I think it's a great way to also just step back from, you know, what's going on, and just appreciate what you have. And I think everybody's heard the word appreciate, and be grateful, and have and practice gratitude. But it's taking it to a practical level where, you know, you can just step outside into a balcony, even though you're technically supposed to stay inside. It's take a step outside, enjoy the sky, and enjoy the air, and then the animals around you. I think that's a great way of looking at it, and
Yeah.
it's an easy way that everyone can practice. But
And
Mary,
even a pigeon, you know, like, we think of pigeons as ugly, at least I do, but if you ever look at the colors and how they reflect on a pigeon, like that iridescent, you know, kind of purple color,
mhm.
uh, it's really, they're beautiful. And they squeak when they fly, which is also amusing.
And so maybe we can sum up, you know, what is the one takeaway, Mary, that everybody today who's tuning in can just take from today, one practice, something that can help them take the next step forward towards, you know, implementing this kind of practice and mindset on a daily basis?
Well, invite the experience, expect to be able to see beauty, and then just take a moment to look around and just allow it, because it will come to you. You don't have to go to it. It's everywhere.
Hmm. So it just sounds like maybe every day, just take a step back, breathe, and take a look around you, and then, you know, just welcome things. So
Yeah.
it's great. That's amazing. Um, and I think it's something that now more than ever we should be appreciating, because our world is shifting so much. Mary, 20 minutes has pretty much gone by. It went by like a breeze. I felt like I did a meditation session today. I know we just talked about how it's different from it, but I feel so reinvigorated and refreshed on ways of
Great.
looking at life differently. And I think it was a great session. I think everybody took something away today. We should start a podcast on just being able to talk people through beauty. Like, it sounds like it's just something people would tune into.
It's true.
Thank you for coming in today, Mary, and thank you for everyone who is tuning in. If you have any further questions, or want to, you know, book a time to talk to Mary some more, leave a yes if you'd like Mary to come back for another session. We could just call it, you know, Beauty on Wednesdays. And then we can just welcome and embrace the beauty around us together. So I think that would be really cool. We will be continuing our virtual speaker series with our virtual Lunch and Learn tomorrow with Dr. Sherry. give you guys a little bit of background on Dr. Sherry. She is one of the world's only clinical psychologists that is also focused on mental health, but specifically entrepreneurs and the self-employed. In short, she helps smart people do hard things. And so we asked Dr. Sherry to walk us through how to protect our most important relationships in the midst of these times, particularly in the uncertainty as we navigate through our health with our families, our kids, spouses, and how to bring it all together and maintain our sanity. So I'm really excited for that. One more time, Mary, I want to thank you so much for being here today. And for everyone at home, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.